WB, and welcome to SB Native Pete Dal Bello. I'm your host, Pete Dal Bello, along with my co-host, Jatzibe Sandoval. Jatzibe, good evening to you.
Good evening, Pete.
Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun this season, and we're going to have a lot of fun. The show is Santa Barbara related, and with topics that have either never been covered or haven't been covered enough, as they say. And of course, we'll have excellent guests. And I can promise you that every episode will be interesting, entertaining, and educational. And Jatzibe, I mentioned all the time that I'm a Santa Barbara native. There are a lot of Santa Barbara natives, but I guess I'm the only one that brags about it.
You know what? I have a bone to pick with you actually about
dear?
this. Yes, because you're calling it Santa Barbara natives or SB natives, Pete Dal Bello. You're not the only Santa Barbara native here.
That's because you were born at Cottage,
I was born at Cottage, yeah.
Yeah, just many years after me, wasn't it?
Many years after you.
Well, maybe not too many years, maybe. Because I'm really 29. That's what people tell me.
Exactly, Pete.
Yeah.
So it's only like a couple of years.
It's not the courthouse that says that, but some people say that. But so technically, some people would say we should call this SB Natives.
We should. Just like that.
If Mariah Carey was my co-host, then the producers would probably want me to call it the Two Divas. But
I would not argue with that.
But a lot of people don't know this, because a lot of people they think that we've known each other forever.
It feels like that.
It probably feels like you've known me forever.
It does feel like that.
But we've just known each other really since Christmas time, right?
Oh my God, it has been since Christmas time.
It probably feels more than six. Probably feels like 6 years instead of 6 months, doesn't it?
Does actually.
Oh my goodness.
Feels like a lifetime.
Because when I first saw you at a city council meeting, and then I was thinking, then we formally met at a Christmas party hosted by, of all people, a wonderful Jewish woman. And then she said, I don't know how well you'll get along with Jatzibe. And I said, well, we agree on a lot of things, so I know she's smart.
You know, my favorite memory from that night was just sitting there. Actually, no, I was standing. I was standing in the kitchen and I was eating food because that's what I do. I eat the food. I was eating a lot of cheese, and I just remember hearing, ha ha ha, your laugh.
Oh, my laughter.
I can't do your laugh, but I was hearing that. Oh, that's such a fake one. I know the laugh.
Oh yeah. I could go on all night long.
It's a lot louder.
Yeah,
I heard it from across the room, and I'm just like, I know that laugh.
That's right.
You know where I remembered it from? City Council.
City Council. Just like we were behind me in line, remember, at CVS on Melpa Street?
Yes.
And then you said, I know that laugh. And I turned around and I thought, oh my God, it's Ms. Sandoval. But it's so exciting. This is going to be we're going to have a great time with the show. And I think it's going to be great for our viewers too, because this is Santa Barbara related, and they know that we both care about the city so much and wanting to make it better.
Our hearts belong to the community.
Definitely. So actually you probably wonder why we have wine and cookies here. And actually the reason, this is how it's going to be every show, every episode.
Goodness.
Yeah, feel free to have some Pizzelles. Those are Italian cookies. And my mother actually used to make those. And these are Italian cookies. Actually, we got them from one of our sponsors, Tino's Italian Grocery. But my mother used to make these, and you make them with a machine.
Really?
It's kind of like a press. And my mother, who's probably still mad at me up in heaven, because I used to distract her. So then she burned the cookies. And then, because I knew that she wouldn't give burnt cookies to the church or her friends, and so she'd have a whole tin, and it was like this many cookies in the tin, all because I made her distracted her, so she burned the cookies, so it would take her forever.
Piglet.
I know it. Isn't that something? I thought, God. So every time I see a Pizzelle, I think that how many times I caused her to burn the cookies.
Honestly, every time I see one, I think of an ice cream cone, and they're so delicious.
Because when they're soft, you can roll them, roll them up like that. But they have on the machines, there's actually designs. One day I'll have to show you my mother's machine. I still have it.
Well, if you're going to be showing it to me, you have to make me cookies.
Oh my God! Now you're asking a lot out of me. That's for sure. And the wine, I know I can hold the wine up right here. But this, you see, it says Dal Bello, and that's actually, I'm distantly related to the winery. This is in Fonte, Italy, which is near Venice. And it's good wine. It's the only wine I drink, so I've turned down a lot of wine, and you probably could imagine that. And
I actually can.
yes, actually, and you can get that. And actually, one of our sponsors, Pani Vino and Via Vai and Montecito, they have the wine there. And my favorite's which is this right here, the Prosecco. They have white wine and red wine, but I like the Prosecco. Ooh. And it's very good. It's
fancy.
Good. Yeah. Oh, it's exciting. You should see the box that they came in.
I did see the box.
Oh, you did see it. Oh, that's right. A little short-term memory.
I'm going to tell you, the bottle looks a lot better than the box.
Does it? Well, afterwards we'll have to open up one of these bottles. And I know, and the crew is so great. They can have some of the cookies too. And feel free to.
I don't know about that. I probably can.
Because I know you love them. Now you see what I love about them.
Delicious.
They're really, really good. And it's I know it. We'll have to get focused here and talk a little bit about your background, because obviously you said you were born at Cottage, and so you went through the local schools. Is that you've always been in Santa Barbara?
Yes. Okay, so let's see how it goes. When I was growing up, I first went to Parma School.
Okay,
right there on Montecito Street.
That's right. I know exactly where that is.
Went to Parma. Then I went to McKinley. And in McKinley, afterwards, I went to Adams School, then Open Alternative School. So sad to hear it go, but I love that school. That school was amazing. It taught me about friendship. It taught me about personal space. It taught me about time management, or at least that's what I tell people. I'm really bad with time management, but I'm still trying.
Well, you show up to just the set on time, so that's important.
Well, I was told there was going to be cookies, so
you
got to focus on the motivation.
That's right. That's
and
right.
And
every episode.
Oh,
okay. So you're a royal. Okay. I'm okay with that, even though I'm a Don, but we're friends.
It's okay. I forgive you.
You forgive me?
You didn't get to make the choice. I chose to be a royal.
You chose to be a royal.
Yeah,
okay.
It's okay.
And
then I graduated from Santa Barbara City College. Ooh.
There you go. Well, we'll have to have a bet during the big game, the Royals, Dons, football. We'll have to figure out some kind of bet.
Well, if you want to lose, bet for anything but royal.
I don't know if I can afford the, you probably have you probably would want pretty high stakes in these bets. I don't know if I could cover that.
No less than $1 million, Pete.
Oh my God, that's way above my blood. You know that. And so you were a royal, and then where did you go to City College?
I went to City College, yeah. I graduated. Were you not listening to me, Pete?
No, I should focus a little bit more. I was too busy looking at you. I wasn't listening to you.
Well, that is a compliment.
That is a compliment.
But come on, I'm more than just a pretty face.
You are. There was a lady, and I could sympathize with that, because there was a lady I talked to today, and she saw that I posted on Facebook. I showed a promotional photo of the two of us, and I said that you're my co-host. And this lady, she doesn't know you. And we were talking, and she said, I guess she could just sense that there's good off-screen chemistry, since we're good friends. So she's assuming that it's going to be good on-screen chemistry, and hopefully she's right. I think she is.
Obviously.
And she said, that was real smart of you to have. She couldn't say your name correctly. It's Jatzibe. It took me about 5 months to get it right.
And you're still not getting it right.
I'm still not getting it right. So she said, that was really smart of you to have Jatzibe be your co-host. And I said, well, that's nice. It's nice to be complimented for my intelligence for a change, not just for my good looks. So I know what you're talking about.
Oh, wow, Pete.
So, and then how many brothers and sisters or?
I got 2 brothers.
2 brothers. Are they older, younger?
Older. I'm the baby.
I see. And your parents, what did they do other than love you?
I thought that's all they did.
Well, that's the important
thing. Give me a
thing.
moment. What do they do?
Yes.
Well, my mother works at the Bacara.
Oh, really?
Yes. And my father works for the Santa Barbara Athletic Club, and then he owns his own business, his own house cleaning service.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, they're both fantastic people.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, they have to be fantastic if this was their production.
Oh, I tell you, they did a good job. They did a good job, because you make me look good. You know that, and so that's what I told people. I said, well, Jatzibe.
Just by knowing me.
Just by knowing you,
you look a
my
lot
net
better.
Worth. You know what I mean? So it's Jatzibe, is that correct? Because it took me 5 months to
It's Jatzibe, but in Spanish it's Jatzibe. I'm not going to confuse you too much, but we'll just go with Jatzibe.
It won't take much. What is that? Is there a translation for that? You're the first Jatzibe I've ever known.
It's actually Purepecha. So it's the Purapichan people of Mexico. It was the tribe that took the last tribe to take a stand against the Spanish.
Really?
I love my name.
Yeah.
Fragrance of a pumpkin flower.
Is that what it means?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Have you ever had pumpkin flower?
No.
Oh
I
my
should
goodness.
Have some of that
If you ever get some pumpkin flour, get some tortillas, get some queso, make yourself a pumpkin quesadilla. It's so good. My grandfather used to make it. He used to he has this like this terreno, this whole property where he has chickens and the whole agriculture thing, but my favorite thing he has is the pumpkin fields, because you just get the pumpkin flowers and you can make so much food with pumpkin flowers alone.
Wow.
But the quesadillas, that's what won my heart over.
Wow.
Just like, I'm
Those are-
staying in Mexico for as long as I can.
Yeah. So what part of Mexico is your family from?
You know what? I know it's Ecatepec, Distrito Huacalco. That's as much as I know.
Where's that near, like a big city?
Oh, Mexico City.
Near Mexico City?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the state of Mexico. I can point at it, but I can't really drive down those streets. I get too lost.
Uh-huh.
It's more of I get distracted. There's taco stands literally on every corner.
And they're probably delicious.
Oh my goodness. Yes, you can get a whole tray, get this, a whole tray of like 15 tacos for around 20 pesos, which
Really?
is
What does that translate to?
like
in
$2.
dollars? $2.
around there, give
Well,
or
you
take.
can't beat that deal.
Oh, it's so good.
And then it's good on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because every once in a while somebody will ask me, because they'll come back from Italy on a trip or something, and a young lady asked me this, and I think she was some people probably it's the guys, some of them said, ciao Bella, which means hello beautiful. So she figured out Bella and then Dal Bello, so she said, do you know what your name means, your last name? I said, of course I know what it means. And I said, surprisingly I have it, it means of beauty. Or handsome, so that's really off. So you'd think it'd be some actress or model with name Dal Bello, but so hopefully I'm sure there is one.
Your parents had high aspirations there.
They did, and I failed miserably.
Oh no, Pete, you got a great personality.
At least I got that going for me, because the looks are going to fade eventually. Well, they probably already have. I have a lot of good people behind the scenes make me look better than I really am.
Just have a cookie, you'll be
I'll
fine.
just have a cookie, But it's, so I'm so excited about this show, because we're going to talk about a lot of things in Santa Barbara. And I know you're quite active, and we're going to discuss that a little bit more detail in a few minutes. But what got you interested in helping the community, basically? Because I know you've had a variety of roles in helping the community.
I have this, I'm a first generation. My parents were born in Mexico, and before that, they were all like my generations and lineage go from Mexico. I had a grandfather who's an orphan from Spain, so it kind of felt like I was a transplant from everywhere. But once I got here, my parents, raised me here. These are my streets. This is my community. I've lived in every part of Santa Barbara County, practically every part, just not so much North County. I lived on Castillo Street. Then I lived in Old Town Goleta, and something about Old Town Goleta. When you live in like one area, if you say you're going to move, you're literally moving to another street, but you're staying in Old Town. I lived on Tecolote, then I lived on Aguila, then I lived on Nectarine, back to Tecolote.
Oh my God!
I
You've
love
been
that
all
place.
over the place.
No, that's not even the end of it. Then when I
okay.
decided I'm going to go off and away from my house and do the fly bird thing, I went and I lived with a friend of mine down on Modoc, and then after that I went to Isla Vista for a bit, and then I ended up to Carpinteria.
Wow, so you've been all over, like you said.
Oh yes.
And then I'm going to talk to you in a little bit about the work you're doing, but first we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Well, Jatzibe, I mentioned a little bit ago that you were with the Montecito Recovery Center. And, I do my research. Everybody knows I do a lot of research. And this actually, I found this at the newsstand in Carpinteria, one of your old stomping grounds. And I'll just hold it up. I don't know. And you could see, there she is right over here. And actually, you look at that flare you got there. You could see you got style, girl. You know what I mean? Everybody else, and I'm not going to say anything bad. Everybody's nice and standing straight. But you could look at your hand on the hip and everything. Or you were a model in a past life, and I didn't know about it. And then you're there with my friend Ben Romo. Is that who you work for, or what?
No. I work for Hope 805. We're a separate department in the Montecito Recovery Center.
In the same building?
In the same building.
Okay.
I'm there with Ben. Actually, can I see that cover for one moment?
Sure.
Let me tell you who the key players are here.
Tell me who the key players are.
Well, I can't tell everyone by name, but
it cost me a lot. Well, it was free actually, but it shows the budget we have. Who are the people here?
We have Rose from Habitat for Humanity.
Rose, what's her last name?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I'm really bad.
She like Cher or something?
She's like Cher. She just has one name.
Oh, okay.
Cher, Prince. I can't think of anybody else, but that's Rose.
That's Rose.
She's with Habitat. Then there's Carly. She runs the whole operation there. Somebody from Doss Williams' office, I'm pretty sure. Then there's Ben. Then there's Bucket Brigade. They just recently moved into the building. We have practically everyone from all the key organizations doing things that have office hours there. So if you need help with loans, if you need help with contacting your case manager for your property, we have people there from the conservation group if you find items that you want to conserve, because a lot of these things are really bad for your health because of all of the mold and the mud that came with it. So they help, conserve it, make sure that it's safe for you to own again. Then we have, I'm going to be forgetting, the American Institute of Architects. They're doing free consultations, which is amazing. We have the Weave. Weave is there doing small business loans.
Women's Economic Ventures.
Yes.
See,
wow,
know,
good for you.
My research.
Wow,
I was
did
there,
your research. Okay.
And that's right off Coast Village Road. So it's really easy to find.
Okay, wise guy.
Yeah, and then I saw Ben, and you could tell when you see Ben next week or tomorrow. I don't. Who knows? And I've known him since high school, so you could give him my regards, and actually you can give him a sympathy card at your leisure, because he could tell you some stories that'll blow your mind.
Okay, so you're the smart guy. You tell me, where do I work?
Where do you work? Well,
do you know the address at least?
Oh, it's on Coast Village Circle. Is that correct?
It is 1283 Coast Village Circle.
1283,
oh my God.
It's the Orfala family.
Yes.
that is. I
yes,
guess
they donated the building to us for the moment, so that we can have a place, a station, so people that need the help can go and reach it.
I see. Well, that's wonderful. That's
fantastic.
wonderful, and it's so nice that they have that resource.
Yeah.
And then you're with California 805.
California Hope 805.
California Hope 805. See, I knew I was missing something. And kind of describe to the viewers what that is about.
So California Hope 805, we were hired through the Mental Wellness Center out of a contract from the Department of Behavioral Wellness here in Santa Barbara County. And what we do is we're the organization, it best describes it if I show you this community wellness team brochure. You've probably seen this around town.
I've seen that actually outside of Pierre Lafond. And I probably could get that from the Montecito Recovery Center.
You can actually get this, yes.
Okay.
And also we've been going around distributing this so people can understand that there is a long-term recovery plan. It's not, this is thought out strategically. So we have people from a lot of organizations put together so that they can get the resources and get all the help out there for people. So we have this brochure that gives you immediate crisis response, the short term and the long term. The organization I work for is California Hope 805. It's right here at the very bottom.
And you were just hired there recently, correct?
Yeah, we got a grant from FEMA. So the program is called the Crisis Counseling Program. And what we do is we are part of this long-term, this community wellness team. But what we're supposed to do is we're kind of like that bridge, the thing that bridges the gap between individuals and the resources out there. So a great thing about our program is that we're outreach workers. So we go out into the community trying to help people engage with either their neighbors or just get into the services they need. Sometimes people don't even want that service. They just want somebody to talk to. So we're the shoulder to cry on, we're the ear you can talk to for days. And part of the recovery is telling your story over and over, as many times as you need to. In Spanish, I like the term deshogar.
What does that mean?
I know there's a straight translation for it, but it's a lot of it, for me, I see it visually, right? Where when you have something bottled up so much and you finally just release it, it's letting yourself, just liberating yourself from your emotions. So part of this is just being able to talk about it, right? So a lot of the things that are going on with this disaster is we're helping people bring it up into conversation, because there's a lot of common reactions to this abnormal effect. And what we're here to help people.
I see. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, because my Spanish I'm not fluent by any means, but Montecito, I believe, means little mountain in Spanish. Is that correct?
I haven't the slightest idea, but it sounds about right.
It sounds about, okay.
So wait, before we continue, in the Montecito Center, we have these amazing blue bracelets.
Oh, well, thank you.
It says hashtag 805
805 strong. That's really nice. I will wear that with pride.
You better rep that 805.
Because I've been an 805 boy my whole life. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why they call it SB Natives.
SB Native, that's right. That's what some people call the show.
And then you say under your breath very quietly.
Dal Bello.
Yeah,
It's
very
right.
quiet.
Very quietly, you know. And then, you just never know what's going to happen out there in this world. You know what I mean? And naturally, you don't have to mention names, but what has been the most rewarding part of your job out there?
Well, one thing I can say is we can't mention names. We hold this kind of confidentiality, because a lot of this, the response, or a lot of the whole disaster is people usually have this kind of shame, or they don't want others to know that they're seeking help. So to just overall, this is a small community. We're not going to mention names.
Yeah.
No. So I can't mention names, and I'm not going to mention names, Pete. As much as you want to know.
So you know how I always look for the details. But I can't swing it past you.
So a rewarding thing about this.
What's the most rewarding part of your job, then?
The most rewarding part of my job, we're not necessarily, we're not at counseling, but I think the most rewarding part of my job is when somebody comes or we meet up with somebody and they tell us about this problem they're having, and we usually have this desk with the banner and everything, but we have all these tips for how to take care of yourself, what are the common reactions, and a person sees a common reaction, reads this piece of paper, and they say, you know what, I've been going through this. And they end up saying, and I really need some help, or whatever, just anything, and you can just kind of feel this kind of light, and like there's some weight lifted off their shoulders, just being able to provide something like that.
And there are probably a lot of people considering Montecito is more, at least in the people's minds, is more affluent. So there's probably many of the people that are coming for help probably never thought they'd be in this situation.
Yeah, but I mean, people are people. Take away their money, take away everything else. They're still people with emotions, and we have to take that into consideration.
And then, and then definitely it's a labor of love in a lot of ways. The work that you folks do out there.
And I love it. I love every second of it.
Yeah,
It makes me feel good.
That's great. Is this your favorite job even though you're obviously young, it's not like you've had 40 jobs or anything, but well, maybe you have. I don't know. Maybe
I'm a very skilled woman.
I haven't seen all your W-2 forms that you file every year with the IRS, so maybe you have a lot of those forms.
All the jobs I've had.
Has this been the most rewarding, do you think? Or it's up there, I would imagine.
Well, just because I don't want any other employer to see this. I'm going to say no.
No? Oh, okay.
But between you and me.
Okay, and a few people watching.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Either way, I love this job, and I've loved all my jobs. That's not true. I used to be a house cleaner. Oh my God, I now realize what my parents mean by go back to school, get an education. And to think, at one point I said, nah, I could just do this. Oh God.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, that's great. Well, we hope to have on the show a future episode to have one of your colleagues at the Montecito Recovery Center as a guest.
Oh, definitely.
You know, because I know there's so much to cover. There's no way we could cover everything in one episode.
There is. And you know what? If anything, I want to extend an open invitation to viewers. If you just want to come out and talk, we're there. We're there to listen. We're there to help, give you that push you need, or we're there to empower you to go out and seek whatever you need, because there's a lot of resources out there.
Definitely.
There's a lot.
That's great. That's great. Well, in closing, I'm going to mention our sponsors that have helped make this happen. And actually, even though you're my co-host, I thank you for helping make this show happen. And the good folks here at the station behind the scenes, they make me look a little bit smarter than I really am.
Just me.
As well as the good folks at Dal Bello Productions. But I'm gonna mention the good people, the good sponsors that have helped make this happen, and such as Town Associates. So we're gonna have Rick Gerard as a guest coming up. He's one of the managing partners of Town Associates, which represents homeowners from concept to construction completion. They do a lot of good work, and I'm looking forward to having him on to tell us more about the work they're doing. And also, of course, Pani Vino and Via Vi and Montecito, and then Dal Bello Investments, Tino's Italian Grocery, Dr. David Inman, who's the best chiropractor in town. He's in Victoria Court. Patrice Serrani, who's a realtor in Montecito, and also Sheer Delights, which is a lingerie and accessories store at 422 North Melba Street. There was, we have a lot of, and the International Chiari Association, which is close to my heart, and then of course Dal Bello Productions. But it takes a lot of people to make this all work, and I feel like I'm the person behind the desk at a hotel, that I'm the one that people usually see, but there's a lot of people that make this work. And I couldn't do it without everybody, and it's really it's a blessing. It's really a blessing, and so it's great as you see the credits roll. But I want to thank everybody for watching, and it's an honor to be the co-host of this show, and I just want to say good night, everyone, and good night, Irene.